What up, YouTube? And welcome back. We are not live today. Had some issues, first of all, with getting out of bed because I'm tired, and it's a Saturday, and so I'm taking the day off. But I wanted to welcome y'all back to Morning Coffee with Brett. Also, the other thing that happened is Sue came in this morning and said she needed coffee earlier, so I would have actually done this video when she was here a little bit later, but we're going to do it this way instead. It's going to be a little interesting, which should be fine. So, lots of so I listened last night. There's getting a lot of hype right now on social, but if you have not seen the most recent, or heard, or seen, or participated in the most recent episode of the Gary Vee show, it's really cool what they did on the last one. They're getting towards the end of it, and Gary's like, I gotta go. And the guy who's with him is an old friend of his, Scooter Braun, who I don't know who Scooter, I've never heard of him before, so I had no connection to him, but apparently he signed Justin Bieber. He's the reason why we know who Justin Bieber is, so feel however you will about that. But Gary's like, I gotta go, so let's wrap it up, and Scooter's like, no, let's take one more call. I got a feeling, let's take one more call, anyway, so it was perfect because they kept it in, and the call literally was a girl who was from Seattle. She'd been trying to get an internship at Scooter's company, and she couldn't. And they just kind of go crazy. And Gary's like, I think her name was Brooke. And Gary basically says, "Look, you got it. You got the job. You don't have to say anything. You've got it." But it was really cool the way they did. But I think that what was funny was they started competing over like who was going to give her more. So this girl, she calls in. She ends up, like, first of all, a lot of people are going to say that she's just lucky. Like, she just happened to call in, and like, not everybody gets called, and not, all this stuff happens. But I think there is more opportunity to be had that people are not going after, because they're sitting complaining and saying things like, she just got lucky, right? Yeah, she got lucky, but the reason why she got lucky is because she told her story, and her story was that she had been trying to get conversations with CEOs in LA, and she had spent, she bought herself a plane ticket and flew down on the faith that she was going to figure something out. Obviously, the assumption is that everything she said, her story is actually true, but I think it is. But she bought a plane ticket, flew to LA, where is that? Oh, it's down there, because I didn't clean it. Okay. Flew to LA, got in a car accident, had a job interview that ended up getting canceled, all this stuff that happened, like rapid fire succession of just shitty experiences, basically. And but she wasn't giving up. She was like, no, I'm still going to move down there. I've got a cousin that's going to let me crash on his couch for a little while I figure out money and all this stuff. And the crazy thing is, like, Scooter managed to say, as part of the, during the course of the conversation, he was like, look, I'm not allowed to just give stuff out for free, give internships or things to people. My company, my staff is like, they don't let me do that. It's like he's not allowed to do that. But he was like, your story, though, I'm going to break my rule, and I'm going to give it to you. We're going to give it on a trial basis. You're going to come. I'm not going to give you a job, right? You're not getting $1 million. You're just going to get the internship, and you're going to have a chance to work and really show what you can do and what you're worth. And then Gary says, Gary's hilarious. He's like, I'm going to out Oprah you. He said that to Scooter. I'm going to out Oprah you. And he said, I'm going to fly you next week. I'm going to fly you to New York, and you're going to hang out with my team for a week. Put too much coffee in here. And we're going to teach you marketing. We're going to teach you all the current stuff, the stuff that's working right now. And so when you go and work for Scooter, you're going to kill it. And so she was like, oh, that's crazy. And then Gary goes, oh, and by the way, we're going to buy you a $4,000 car so you can drive around in LA. And he was like, Scooter, you want to go halvesies on it? He's like, sure. So this girl, she had kind of a shitty experience trying to make it work, but she was committed to it. And the biggest thing I think is that so many people, there's a lot of different definitions, and there's a lot of people that talk about this idea of keyboard warrior. There's a lot of people, even that follow Gary, and that they're positive people, and they're trying to do their own thing. Like, I'm a good example of this. I would never be in an opportunity, like, I can't even imagine, I don't even know how to put my phone number in to get on a phone call with Gary. I wouldn't even, like, I'm too, maybe that's really what I need to do next. Like, I'm too scared. I don't know if scared is the right term because it's like, I'm too comfortable where I am now to actually put my actions where my mouth is and figure out how to call into that show. Part of it is like I have this romantic idea that I don't ever want to call Gary because I want to get so successful that he calls me, which is never going to happen. Like, that's just a dumb thing to think, like a dumb thing to want. But the it's crazy how this is blowing up on social right now. It's insane. Yeah, like, and I think so many people, like those, like I said, those keyboard warriors, people that are gonna shit on this. They're gonna be like, oh, she just got lucky, or oh, you know, she, you know, she lucked out, or this isn't real, or this is like she's. There's actually going to be a subset of people that are going to be like, oh, she's at a disadvantage because she didn't work her way up, like she's shortcutting the line, she's going to not make it work or whatever. But I think the courage to put yourself out there, to continue to put yourself out there, I think this is key. Because her life had basically shit on her over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, right? Because you would think at that point, most people at that point, I think, and this is probably true for me too, I would probably think, okay, it's time to pack it in. Like, I did the entrepreneur thing, I tried it out, I flew down to LA, a bunch of stuff happened, the universe must just be telling me that it's not for me. But she was like, no, I'm doing this because it's about me, it's not about what anybody else thinks, or what anybody else wants, or what the universe is going to say. And so she kept pushing. And the funny thing is, even if she had not gotten through on that call, even if she had not spoken to them and gotten that amazing deal, she was going to go to LA. The decision was already made. She was moving to LA. She was going to get it figured out. She was going to she was going to go there and let it, you know, and then figure it out when she got there. And I think that drive, that vision, that passion, and when they asked her what she does and what she wants to do, she wasn't very secure in it. She didn't like have it figured out what she wanted to do. She just knew she wanted to be in LA and she wanted to be in marketing. And the fact that she was so dedicated to that dream and that vision, I was inspired. And I think the biggest thing is that for me personally, what it says to me is I need to leave that comfortable place that allows me to think. Like to think about things from afar, if that makes sense. Like, I need to get away from the comfort of sitting and listening to what Gary says, and sitting and listening to these conversations he has with other people. Because I love what Gary has to say, but some of the things that are the most interesting is part of it's the same reason why I love the Joe Rogan podcast. Joe is fine. Joe's great. He has a lot of good thoughts, and he's made me think about a lot of things. But what's most interesting about Joe is that he has interesting people on his podcast, right? He's not as interesting as the people that are there with him, right? And some of the best podcast episodes of his are where he says very little, and it's just the other person talking. He just asks the right questions. He's very good at that. And I think that's true for Gary as well. Gary's much more of a powerhouse on his own, but the people he has there and the people that are answering questions, and so like this experience, just even the story that Scooter was telling from before, I think that a lot of people will miss that the reason why that experience could even happen is because of who Scooter is and because of who Gary is, because of what they're dedicated to as far as their brand is concerned. Like, I can tell you that even 3 years ago, most CEOs of any type of company at that level would almost turn up their noses at someone coming up to them directly and saying, I want an internship. Right? But these guys have an understanding of drive and passion, and they know that really is what creates good work ethic, and that's the makings of a good worker. You know, of someone that's going to do things and build your brand and do what's good for you, because they have a drive to just make things happen. So today's video is going to be a little bit short. I just got to finish this coffee up, so it'll be done by the time Sue gets back. I know that when they get back, Wick's going to freak out. I don't want him to mess up the camera. So. Anyway, if you have not seen that, you should check it out. Go over to the Gary V. I don't even know what it's called, but just type in YouTube. In YouTube, go to Gary V. Scooter Braun, you'll find it'll be the first thing that pops up, guaranteed. Also, if you're not following my podcast, episode 2 relaunched. Episode 2 launched yesterday. Check it out. Anchor.fm/think like me, or I should just start using my website, brettmartineau.com/podcast. Will take you straight there. If you go on the Anchor app, you can actually leave audio messages. I would love for you to leave some comments, some audio messages on what you think about the podcast. There are some people listening, which is surprising to me, but it's kind of cool as well. So check that out. There's also this YouTube channel, so check back in. I'm going to start doing these daily. By the way, just as a side note, the quality of the video is better when I don't do it live. So I'm toying with the idea of having a couple of the days of the week be live and a couple of them be pre-recorded and I just upload the videos. But I'm also kind of wondering, like I haven't really decided. So what I'd like to do is do the show live in the morning. I'm not really concerned about the quality that much because I'm literally just standing here talking. But for maybe some other content that I might put together, it might be pre-recorded. So anyway, hope you enjoy your day. Have a great Saturday. Have a great weekend. We'll check in with you tomorrow. Peace.